Sherpa Review is back. Today we bring in a panelist of 3 domain experts. You know, you get to just sit around in a super casual conversation with 3 very bright minds and discuss what's happening today in the domain industry. We look at sales, we look at investors' portfolio, we look at domains up on NameJet, and really discuss from 3 pretty different minds, 2 attorneys and a firefighter, all of whom have spent years of their time becoming very well esteemed experts in the domain industry, but also who have very different approaches to what types of domains they buy and how they sell. So enjoy the show. Hey, Sherpa Network. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Tess Diaz, executive producer of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the Domain Sherpa Review. This is the show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become better investors ourselves. We will do our usual 3 segments to review. First, we'll learn what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. Next, we'll discuss in value an investor-submitted domain name portfolio. And finally, we'll preview some domains going to auction soon at NameJet.com and whether the Sherpas think they're a good investment opportunity for you. Joining us today are 3 oldies and goodies. Guys, introduce yourselves. Let's start with you, Braden.
Hello, I'm Braden. I like how you were using your professional voice, and just prior to that, you were using your just like casual test voice, and you like switch gears.
I'm a ninja, a voice.
But they didn't see that. They didn't see that.
Well, they really, really missed a fascinating pre-show conversation.
They did, and that's
Writers and portfolio sizes,
and whether or not they perform, because big portfolios don't necessarily perform like small. Anyway,
listen, it's not the size of the portfolio.
It's the monetization that counts.
Wait, Josh, this is where you change your background at that moment.
All right.
What do you got?
Yeah, bud.
He's got a big portfolio behind him right there. Look at that.
For those of you who can't
Look
see,
at that little
that is
grin.
Shane Cultra behind him.
I like how Shane's right behind him with no shirt on.
Yeah,
With a little grin.
right there.
Wow.
He's Shane couldn't be with us, so I'm covering for him, but I brought him with me.
I thought this was a family show. I'm
Apparently not.
going to do the next Sherpa topless. Be warned.
I mean,
All right, Ammar, I'll schedule you next week.
Well, Ammar, you did do a panel once in a robe.
Yes, but that's not topless, so I can't let Shane just sit there topless and me.
Okay, wait. I don't know about a panel that Ammar did in a robe, but I do know that I called him when we were in Portugal, and we had someone who couldn't attend our panel at the last minute, and he told me he couldn't because he was in a robe. So you're telling me that was just
And
that
those
you've
are the
already
only
done a panel in a robe?
I've ever worn a robe. So
What's that?
I said those are the only 2 times I've ever worn a robe. The panel
got
and
time
then
to
one
wear a
test called
robe.
me.
When did he do it? Braden, I like how we haven't introduced Ammar, but we're giving this sordid history.
Right.
Well,
Braden,
people should know who he truly is. He did a panel. It was at, I want to say traffic, and it was
Florida.
Florida, yeah. But how many years? It was like 10 years ago or something, right?
I just don't know why domainers in 2010 had an unprofessional reputation. How weird. Why were you in a robe?
Well, it was a joke, but the idea was I'm always late for panels, and so I intentionally missed the panel, the first 5 minutes of it, and I walked in a robe. The idea was that I had just woken up and I wanted to get to the panel.
Cute. That's cute. But you should have remembered that and put that all together in Portugal when I called you, when I needed you most.
Sorry.
Not quite forgiven, but I'll
I
work
made
on it.
this one on short notice, so there you go. And I'm not in a robe.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what you're wearing there. It could be.
Okay, so Braden Pollock.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
You are not introducing yourself. I am.
Oh,
I'm Braden. Hi. What else you want to know? I'm a domain investor, and other things. You introduce me. It'll be more interesting if you do it. I already know who I am.
Okay, well, fine. That backfired. Braden Pollock, whose name is spelled Pollock, is, Braden, you've been a domain investor for 12, 15 years, forever?
Yeah, I think just right in the 13 years or so.
Okay. And so, Braden, you own multiple companies. You, got into this, I think, through the marketing standpoint and seeing your legal brand marketing company, how much you were spending on domains and the value in there. And you've been such a valuable asset to the industry for all these years with the marketing background, the legal background, and all your, startup and, are you in the VC world too?
No, angel investor.
Oh, no, I'm an angel.
Angel investors, VCs come later.
No, that's fine. So yeah, you got a lot of street cred, and thank you for taking the time to be on Sherpa all the time. Josh Eisenhower, hello. You have the Best Background Award.
This one or the other one?
No, definitely the other one. Josh, you are so creative. I love all your memes with Shane. But so you are an integral part of the DSAD.com team with Shane Coltra. And you are really well known for your super thorough research. Hello, Lisa. Lisa Bloom, ladies and gentlemen. Braden's wonderful wife, his definitely better half. There's no competition. I don't know why you have her face, but I like it better than yours.
I one day was my birthday, and they had made a whole bunch of these, and they spread them all around my office.
And
so
now when Lisa's out of town,
behind me,
he has something to keep him company.
Right. Well, there's one. This one stays behind me in the plant, as if she's peering through the plant. She's always
wow. I think you should send one to like Bill Cosby, because he should feel like she's watching him too from behind the plant. Oh wait, he doesn't have any plants anymore.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And he's well aware of her.
Yeah, I know. That's why I mentioned him.
Is he gonna kill himself in jail too?
Too soon.
He's in denial. He doesn't think he did anything wrong.
Well, I hope. Well, first of all, that's all of them. But I hope that you sent Lisa the big hug I asked you to when I read the news about Epstein. That stinks, and her legal work is phenomenal. So Josh, expired domains. You do tons and tons of research, almost as detailed as Lisa, but not. And you really share that beautifully on DSAD.com because you just believe in humanity and growing this ecosystem. Ammar, you are like the OG. Ammar Kubba, ladies and gentlemen, with his diamond earrings. Let's see him. Harder to see with the ear pods and the background right now, but they're there. So Ammar, do you have a story about the earrings? Like, did you buy them from a great domain sale?
No, I got them later in life because I wanted them when I was a kid, and my mom said she would disown me if I got them. And then I kind of forgot about it for a while. And then I realized one day I woke up, I think I was 30 or something, and I said, I'm an adult now, and I can kind of do whatever I want. So
you're fooling yourself.
Yeah. Well, yes. I was legally an adult, not a.
Was it before or after the robe?
Before the robe, yeah. So I just woke up one day and realized that I could do whatever I wanted, and so that's what I did.
Nice. When I first got into domains around 2006, I remember reading about you, and you've done so much for this industry. So, but this was way too long an intro. Even though we are all such fascinating conversationalists, let's do this. What's new, Sherpas? What's a domain that you bought or sold recently? And don't say the price. And the other two guys got to guess on the price, just to get, an idea of the market today and what's going on. Mar, you are first? Question mark?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you are first.
Yeah. So I sold gameon.org.
Ooh.
So I thought I'd throw in not a .com. Let's see what people think.
Wacky.
On.org.
Just crazy. Shaking it up. All right. What do you guys think? He sold gameon.org. Prices, please.
Gameon.org. I'm going to assume it's a nonprofit because it's a .org, and Game On sounds like it could be a nonprofit, though it could be wrong, and it could be somebody that just couldn't get the .com. I would guess it's only worth $2,500, but I think you did better than that because you are Ammar Kubba, and you got to afford those diamond earrings. So I am going to say you got $8,000.
All right, Josh.
Yeah, these guys they're playing on a whole different level than I do normally. So when it comes to valuations of what they sold something for, sometimes I don't have any idea. I mean, even knowing myself, sometimes people pay crazy things for crap, but I'm not saying that that's crap, but I would say that I was going to shoot for like 4 to 5K would be, I think, a reasonable, probably a high-end price for it.
Okay. I think it's interesting how, it could be something besides just gaming. And we know, like I did that, the online.casino guys, and they were talking all about the SEO and how it was no problem as long as they had those keywords in there. So I could see it for gaming and for a much different, a charity or something totally different that's like, let's bring change to the world. So I'm more interested in who you sold it to. So tell us your story.
I am too. I'm interested in who bought it. It's still not resolving. It was purchased in a buy now, and it was the buy now price was $98.88, so 10K, and I was like, I woke up and I'm like, wow, okay, that's cool. It just shows you, and it was listed at multiple places. I believe it was parked at Uniregistry at the time, but they chose to buy it through GoDaddy, which is interesting because they just did the buy. It had a buy now on the lander, but they went and bought it at GoDaddy, and it's not resolving at all right now, and it's privacy protected. So I don't know who bought it. But I would assume it's it's going to be gambling related. And it could be the guys that own GameOn.com, which is a developed site. And so maybe because a lot of the gambling guys like to do the .com and the .net or .org, and one of them is for free play, and the other one is where you're actually using real money. And because they have restrictions in different jurisdictions on where you can actually bet online.
Interesting. Is that why you acquired it? Because you knew that?
So I've been interested in the gambling space for a little while now. So I have been trying to pick up some names related to that. And so I bought it in an auction, and I actually got it only in December. So
for how much?
For under $100. Game on.
Good job.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Look at that smile. Who needs diamond earrings when you got a smile like that?
So, but that was good guessing on both of your parts. I mean, but this is, we can talk about this later, but this is what I've been stressing to people the last few shows we've done is you really should put buy nows on. You should price your names that are definitely under 10K. Anything under 10K you should be pricing. And I would say even up to 25K, you should be putting prices, because you never know. And these people obviously didn't want to negotiate. And if I had put, no price on it, I may not have, sometimes I just ignore inquiries and that deal may never have happened. They may have inquired and offered $500 and I probably wouldn't have even replied. But this way there was a price set and I'm very happy with the price. I think it's reasonable. And so, and it worked out.
Sure did. Good job. Congrats.
Thanks.
I'll do it by now also.
All right.
Got an after Nick buy it now sale. Unless I don't think I talked about it. Loveletter.com. You talk about it?
I don't think so.
I'm familiar to you guys? No? Okay. Loveletter.com.
Loveletter.com. Wait, I think that's where you take out the picture of your wife. Loveletter.com.
No, that's when Shane pops up behind.
You're right. You're right. Josh, you're completely failing us.
It's a love text usually. Love email.
As long as it's not a love tap. We don't want love taps.
Uh-oh.
So, love letter. Man, I didn't think you got out of bed for anything. You wouldn't even price anything under 50. That's what I thought. I mean,
there's smaller stuff in my portfolio, Josh.
I mean, I'm going to throw. It's a good. It's a common term, like like a love letter. Back and forth. She's throwing stuffed animals at me now.
That was your love letter from your daughter, huh?
Yeah. I'll say 35. Just I don't really.
3,500 or 35,000?
1,000.
Do you only say that because it's Braden? Like, what would
That's part of my equation a little bit.
Okay.
I think it's one of those that, to Ammar's point of pricing with a buy it now, like you can always price it at something high and get that impulse purchase, and then they can still negotiate if they want. So, like I would throw a price up there, in that ballpark, and negotiate after that. The other thing is that you get exposure to the registry path a lot easier if you have the buy it now price on it, whatever it is. So I don't know. I mean, it's a common term. It has mind share. It depends on what somebody wanted to pay for it. I think there's a broad spectrum of what it could have gone for. So I'm just throwing it out there because I think it was the last thing you taught, like food trucks. I was surprised, like you got 250 on that. I was was it 350?
250.
250.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, like something like that. Love letter almost seems like it's a little bit more of an open vessel type thing. Than some keyword specific type thing.
A love letter is not an industry like food trucks.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's still 10% of what that was, but that's my guess.
Okay. Ammar's been checking if that's resolving.
No, I didn't check anything. I was just thinking about it. So I'll go with with what Josh is saying, that Braden probably would be pricing it, at a higher number. But on the flip side, because you said it was a buy now. So if you hadn't have said buy now, I'd give a higher number. But because you said it was a buy now, I'm gonna guess 20. And I still think that's a good price for that name. But I think for the right buyer, you could have gotten more. But I'm just going to guess 20 because you said buy now. And I think that's a reasonable price for that name. 15 to 20 would be reasonable on a buy now for that. I could see somebody doing an impulse purchase. And so I'm going to go with 20.
Oh,
Right.
great.
Josh was spot on.
35?
35.
35. Bravo. Well done. Why did you choose to price it at 35?
I was gonna go with the standard like 25. Like they used to be registries like go-to price. But I added 10 grand. I don't know.
the Braden factor.
Yeah. That added
The Braden premium. What's that?
It adds at least 40% onto the top, right?
So that was a buy now price at 35, and somebody clicked buy now and checked out.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
It would
proof
be
that
interesting to see what they do with it.
And I would have sold that for less. I mean, if somebody had reached out to me, I can look it up, but I think I had like a 15 or 20 as a
floor.
I have 3 prices. Right? So I've got my low price, my ask price, and then the buy it now, right, to compensate for commissions. So I think my low is 15 or 20. And so I just put a big number on it to cover commissions. But the interesting thing is, so I've only had it for almost exactly 2 years when I sold it. You guys want to guess what I paid for it?
2,500.
You bought it in a portfolio, didn't you?
Oh,
I'm not.
Oh, did I just ruin it? Was I not supposed to say that?
an averaged out price, or?
I don't confirm nor deny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Later.
I'll go with 3,000.
$1,000.
There you go.
Yeah, I paid $1,000. It was an average. It was a price that was assigned to it because of the portfolio. Although I've more than made my money back from the portfolio. So it's all good.
It was a nice portfolio. Yeah. Good for you. Congrats.
That was a portfolio that had lobby.com in it, which is what I wanted. But then I've sold a few of the others, so it's worked out.
Lobby.com. I just am so enthusiastic about that. Loved that name when we were working with it.
That's right. I bought it from you guys, so that's why you know.
I'd like to see where it goes. Oh, Ammar just couldn't take it. He left. Oh, hey, you're back. Okay, Josh, what'd you buy or sell lately?
I want to say real quick, just a point as we're talking about these buy it now prices and what, you can still negotiate. But one thing that I think a lot of domainers don't realize is that the average person doesn't even know what the heck they're doing at all with this. I've sold domains with a price on the landing page. I've sold it for twice as much in a registration path. They don't even check. I'm talking like I had a $5,000 lander. Like if they would have just typed the damn thing in, they would have saw it was $5,000 and sold for $10,000 on Cedo with a buy it now price. So people don't. So it's okay to mix it up. Like a lot of times I won't put anything on the lander so that I can get offers that might be higher. Then I'll take the buy it nows down if something comes in. It's still a very inefficient system in business, and people don't even know what they're doing. So we can play that to our advantage. So I was looking at some domains I sold actually through Huge Domains. And you got to keep in mind, like, I don't consider myself an investor for the most part, not all the time. I think there's a certain aspect of me that I'm just a domain seller, right? I find stuff that I think people might want. They're not investment grade by any stretch, but they could make good brands, and I'm picking them up for $8 a piece, right? So in this, I mean, I have some decent stuff, but let's go with Herbal Rehab.
Ooh, herbalrehab.com.
Yeah, .com. Sold on Huge Domains.
So when you say on Huge Domains, you mean through Dropcatch or a private auction? No, on Huge Domains.
I've been selling. They're probably going to open it up pretty soon. I just talked to the Reberries to see if I could talk about it. But yeah,
Okay.
I've been the stuff that I have at NameBright.
Yeah.
Most of it that I picked up through Dropcatch is I've been selling it through Huge. I mean, as the landing page, which
Okay, got it.
It opens me up to. They put it on Cedo as well. We had some problems with Afternic. I have to list it on Afternic myself, but so I can use the payment. I got one under the payment plans right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like their payment plans.
That's all taken care of by them. So it's a pretty good. I mean, they just came out with a new dashboard. Before that, we were just kind of, they'd email me and tell me about it. But
got it. Cool.
So yeah, it was something we we were conceptualizing and talking about for a couple of years, and we got it together. And so it's been working pretty good.
Awesome.
So herbalrehab.com.
So I think, with the CBD and the weed business opening up, I think that you got a premium for it better now than you would have gotten a few years ago. And I think you got more for it than you normally sell your names for. I'm going to say 68.88. That's my number.
All right.
Sticking to it.
I'm going to say, I'm going to go under, and I'm going to say 6K.
So
close.
Very close.
The sales price, and this is a week and a half ago, it was $21.95.
Okay.
And so it's funny because I was hammering them hard, like picking up a ton of inventory every day on the drops. In which, I mean, your biggest competitor is them, actually. Right. But I didn't go through and price any of the stuff myself. I used their algorithm. And so like
you left that out of the
yeah. Well, I did preface it with the whole non-investment, more of a domain seller, and that's kind of what I was getting at with this. Like it's all automated basically, right? I'm picking them up, I'm uploading them to a certain folder, and then they're pricing them and putting them out. I can go in and change them. And what I did is I had anything that had that Uniregistry had set a price on, because Uniregistry used to price my domains too. Because I mean, I was talking at one point I had like 15,000 at NameJet, and I wasn't like, I'm not going through and pricing them out individually, like especially all of them I picked up for $8 a piece, right? So like I'll let their science and their data points handle it for me. Like I'm not, but the ones that I did that had gotten inbound inquiries and that Uniregistry had priced, I went through and I changed them all to what the quoted price was to have consistency across the board.
What Uniregistry priced or what Huge Domains priced?
No. So the Uniregistry price was usually higher. Like the opening quote was usually higher. So I would go through and change the drop catch or the parked price to whatever the quoted price was from Uniregistry, just so they didn't, the point was that not to have them work on it. And then now that the landing page is going to Huge Domains, just go pick it up or underbuy them, underbid them.
I didn't know you used automated pricing. I thought you priced them yourself.
I do with Afternic too, actually. So names that aren't even with NameJet, and it's not always, but there again, like, say, I think I have like 6,000 at GoDaddy right now. It's been a lot less. I've been auctioning. That's the other thing with NameJet. I can auction them off through drop catch, and I'm not going to get the prices that GoDaddy gets for their inventory because they got that locked down with the valuations. But I'm still, instead of letting them drop, I can liquidate them. What was I saying? Man, my ADD's kicking in. Where was I at?
Josh, tell us how many names you have now.
It's probably only around like 12 to 15,000. I'm not a good.
But Josh, what's the volume that you transact in? Because you're a very unique buyer and seller. What's the volume that you transact? I don't know, weekly, monthly. How many do you buy? How many do you sell? How many do you drop?
It's all dynamic, and I would say that I mean, it's been going in waves like this. And so I can tell usually if there's a problem because the sales aren't coming through, then I can investigate it. But I mean, for a while I was selling like 4 or 5 a week, and that's not all the time, but they were ranged from, that was when I had more stuff down at like $9.99, right? I had a buy it now price of $9.99. Since I've let the algorithmic pricing go in, they're usually 2 to 5. So there's a lot less sales than at $9.99 or below. Because I mean, my thing was, even if I can move something for $4.99, right? It's momentum. I'm just pulling, I'm turning stuff over. I'm picking up inventory. I'm going deep with the searches when I'm processing the pending deletes and stuff. I'm going deep, and I'm getting stuff for $8. It's you always, there's anomalies too, right? I'll pick something. I sold a domain for 20,000 a couple months ago that I picked up for $8. That was a weird one. I had it priced, but a pseudo broker came to me from a Chinese company, and I was like, get an offer, and the opening offer was 20 grand, and it was a complete crap. And I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should counter, not take. I told him to do whatever he thought best.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, a broker's always going to close. They're just going to close. They want to turn it on the next deal.
Wait, and it's not like in this business where the broker's like, trying to get the buyer a great deal, right? They just want to close it. So I was like, hey man, you know this customer better than I do. You do whatever you think's not going to scare them away. And so
And you didn't have a buy it now price on that one?
I did at Afternick, and I took it down right away.
Huh.
It was a hell of a lot less than what it sold for. Like it was a name that I would have wholesaled for $100 and not batted an eye at.
Wow.
Are you going to tell us that name?
I guess so they didn't want it published.
Oh.
But I didn't sign anything. But it's funny because they had a product for a while, for like a month. Now it's parked at Uniregistry. So I don't know. I think they paid too much and they went out of business is what happened.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
You put them out of business, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, but
How can you sleep
That's
at
not
night?
cool, buddy.
They should have came in a little lighter, and then
When they offered 20,000, you could have said, no, $2 grand is sufficient.
That's a ridiculous price. Why would I take that? This domain's worth 500 at the most, but I'll let you give me 1,000.
Right.
Yeah, you got to negotiate better next time.
Wow. Well done. And Josh, you are such an anomaly in the industry. And I love how you say, you're like, anybody can do this. They just have to invest the time and grow the experience.
Man.
And you're right.
I don't even think that much time.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
don't even think it should take that much time. Really, there's so many different angles. I don't want to get sidetracked, but there's so many different angles. You don't have to spend a ton of time, but you'll be rewarded for what the time you do put in. And then once you find something that works, you expound upon that. That's the key, I think. So.
Yeah, agreed. All right. I'm going to tell you about our advertisers for today's show who support us in our mission to educate people in the domain industry.
First, serious about online trading? Secure your funds, keep your merchandise safe, and use a company that keeps the buyer and seller protected the whole way through. That's escrow.com. Payments you can trust.
All right. In the domain portfolio review, we take user-submitted domain name portfolios and provide honest and constructive feedback to the owners so they can either cut their losses, continue to hold them long-term, or figure out a sales strategy going forward. And we have 2 partners submitted this list. Their company is Target Specific Marketing. They made a very generous donation to the Fred Hutch Research for Cancer. And they had a long call with me where they really feel there's a lot of value in these domains. So I appreciate the 3 of you taking your time to give them some feedback. So let's see what we got. Who is up first? Josh, you're up first. What are your thoughts here? What stands out to you?
So last time there was a portfolio like this and I was on a review panel, I said it gave me chest pain. This it makes me want to punch babies in the face. Okay. And I like babies. So
Oh God!
I think we're at a point where we how many shows have we done? Just giving basic principles, and this is tough love time again. It's like if they told you that they thought this was a great portfolio, they're doing it wrong, right? Like this is where and I think it's critical. I don't think we can bullshit them and say like, well, you know, maybe this one, no, like they're doing it wrong. And so out of the whole list, right? I hate acne, I think is something that could potentially sell, right? I mean, it's got a negative I hate. It's not like, I think, you know, I love clear skin would be better, right? But I hate acne.
Yeah, advertisers don't like negatives.
Right, but at least with that one, you know what it is. You know what it's saying. You know what the message is.
But again, the message is shame, embarrassment.
Right. I'm saying with this list, I'm trying to salvage something out of here without, you know, some of them, there's a lot of them that are, they're keyword domains that are low CPC, low search volume. So they're worthless. Like, yeah, I mean, migrainemedication.org. Like nobody's gonna name their business migraine medication. It's completely generic. Maybe it's got some search volume, but I don't see anybody even using it for an SEM or an SEO campaign. So some of the other ones that I thought maybe you get away with, and somebody, so the cambiar one, right? It's the infinitive to change in Spanish, but this is the subjective past tense el, ella, and ustedes conjugated form of it, right? And there's like 70 conjugations, and this one is one of them. So it's an actual word in Spanish, but I mean, maybe you could squeak a brandable out of it, but it's just a conjugated form of the verb. So like he changed, she changed, you changed. And then like series nuevas is, you know, new series in Spanish. I don't know what you would do with it, but it's one of the only other domains that like makes sense as words together. I don't know. I mean, the app ones are good. They're good high CPC keywords, but I don't know what you do with them on app, a dot app. I mean, maybe it'll be something, but they're generic, which I guess that's what you'd want. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything. Like I've stayed away pretty much from the new GTLDs. And I don't know what, I'm afraid to see what they paid for those keywords. But some of these other ones, like I don't know, what did they put LAAOA.com? The only acronym I could find for that was Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. You know, like,
Tell us how you really feel, Josh.
Oh, I'm trying to. I just want to make it clear, in case it's not clear, right? In case it's not clear, there's the basic principles of what we're looking for. Can a company use it? You know, we've expounded upon that over and over, and I just want people to understand that when you deviate from that, I mean, even if it was just as simple as, could you see yourself naming a company this? And no, I can't. And so I think maybe I'm being too hard. I don't know, but I think if you haven't got that, then you need to stop and reevaluate instead of just blowing money. I don't think any of these will ever sell. And I hope they didn't pay more than reg fee for them.
And I hope you don't punch any babies in the face.
I don't want to. Like I said, I like babies.
Don't do it.
I like babies. But you see a list like this and you're like, man, and you just get so angry. You're like, that baby is right there. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I do not know. I do not relate to that part. But
it's a joke. I'm not punching any babies.
No babies were harmed in the filming of this.
All right, who's next?
Actually, Braden, you were first. I don't know why I skipped you. I guess I just felt the vibe that Josh just.
That's why. Like I was prepared to go last, and then you put me in the spot. I just had to bring it. Like,
wow. You did not hold back. Okay, Braden.
Okay, so I'm not going to be as harsh. I don't think this list is horrible. I think it's terrible. However, it's really bad. Josh is right. Punching babies aside, there's nothing on here of any value. So I'll talk about the few that I hate the least, and then I'll talk about a couple that I hate the most. But there's nothing on here that I like because they, by and large, don't make sense. 770.app, possibly, it could sell. I mean, is a 3-number. Numbers are good, but .app, who knows? There was one 3-number .app that sold for about $500 once that I could find. So who knows? Auto insurance is a great keyword, very good keyword. On .app, I don't know, maybe I can see an auto insurance app, but I don't know who would brand it. It would have to be a directory. The others, dope wines, who knows? There's all kinds of wine labels out there. It could be a wine called dope, but.
Or they thought maybe marijuana and wine.
Yeah, I suppose. The likelihood is pretty low. It's not worth the investment. It's not worth $8. Free credit report, also good key term, but on a .app. So that's another one that's. So those are the ones I hate the least. The ones I hate the most, to see it now doesn't make any sense at all. LAX drone. Okay, aside from the fact that you can't have any drones in or around an airport, but that's not the worst of it. The worst part is LAX is a trademark. So it's just bad for any,
Only a lawyer from LA would know that, I guess.
It's LAX is Los Angeles Airport, and that's it's a trademark. So it's infringing on a mark, and you can't have a drone there anyway. So there's nothing about that that makes sense. And then I think my most favorite least like name on this list is Wife is Hot, which doesn't make any sense.
You're taking all my freaking.
but not only does it not make sense, it could also be pronounced Wi-Fi shot.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I like that.
There you go.
So
that's what
awkward.
You
That's
can
what
camel case them.
That's what
You can
Josh-
camel case them. That could be it. They're all capital letters, right? Maybe that's what it.
If he keeps looking at this list, that's what Josh is going to do. He's going to shoot somebody's wife.
It almost works
That
better
ship
for
has sailed.
Wi-Fi shot.
That ship has sailed.
But if you shot your wife, you probably wouldn't put it up online. I'm just
I
saying.
don't know. There are those people like live streaming on Facebook. No, I'm sorry.
Could be a book.
I should cut that out.
That could be a book title. Wi-Fi shot.
I mean, yes.
Yeah,
So
it's the shot you missed with the hot wife, and so all right. So I think Braden's done. You guys have already said everything, but I'll say it. I'll just give a few comments. I do think overall the portfolio is not good, and that's putting it politely. It's not a good portfolio. We should definitely be dropping a lot of these names, unless there's something they know that we don't know, right? Like, I don't know if LATI Uno is Lati Uno, and maybe it's some kind of brand that I haven't heard of. But LAAOA, they're probably just thinking it's 5-letter, so 5L, they picked it up. But some of these, they really are terrible. Like Wife is Hot or Wi-Fi Shot is a terrible domain. If it was My Wife is Hot, and she is, then I would say that's okay. But wifeishot.com makes no sense, or Wi-Fi Shot. That actually makes more sense. So maybe Braden will buy it from you. The name I liked, the names I like on here, I do like a couple of the .apps. I like Auto Insurance .app. I don't know if that was purchased in an auction or if it had dropped, because I was looking at it. Even though it's a great name, .apps aren't selling right now, as far as I know. So you have to hold it. And I'm almost 100% certain, I'm going to say 99.9% certain that that's a premium. So now not only do you have to hold it, but you're also likely paying a premium renewal fee. So that's a big problem there, even though it's a great name. And I could see, companies using that, use just on your app, you're going to select your car insurance, you put in a few things, it would be great.
what buy it now price would you put on autoinsurance.app?
I'd put, I'm ridiculous, but I'd put north of 10K 10 to 25K is what I would put, somewhere in there, in that range.
Okay. And
But-
Josh, you're on the opposite end of the spectrum.
No.
What price-
If I was them, I'd put it at 100, just as like a wild shot in the dark that it covers everything else and, gives them some kind of. But I also think that's a horrible way to go, where you have to completely hugely speculative niche, right? Like these new GTLDs and crappy domains. Like that's not a good. A new investor, they need to be figuring out what works, and not something that's going to happen in 10 years, because they're not going to make it that long, right? They need to be finding something that they can sell tomorrow, and keep moving.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So,
and Ammar, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
oh, no problem. So, I do like autoinsurance.app, but if they can sell it sooner than later, at least they get out from underneath the premium renewal and use that money. On the premium renewal, they could have, for a .app, I'm thinking that's probably $150 a year, maybe more. I don't know what their premiums are, but you could get 15 .coms for that, right? The .pms, I have no idea what .pm is, and I don't know why you don't smoke in the .pm or why you do smoke in the .pm, because they have both.
Can you think of any companies associated with smoking and PM?
Philip Morris, I guess, maybe that's what they're thinking, but they also changed their name to Altria now, I think. So
No, it's smoking at night or not smoking at night.
Right. So either way, you can choose both. But I disagreed with a little bit with Braden. I actually like Dope Wines. I think that's a good brand. I think
No, that was on the least hated list. Dope Wines.
Okay, so
what would you
that's
list Dope
probably the
Wines
name
for?
of any name on this list. That's the because of the marijuana connection. It's kind of brandable. I like it. So I don't know what their asking price is, but I'd give them $250 for it. If I were them, I would be asking more, obviously, but that's the only name. I buy that in an auction, I'd go up to 250, maybe 500, but that's the most. I like that name. And I already said, I like the auto insurance and .app. 770, I don't know what. I understand that numbers are good, but I don't know what 770 represents, if anything. So I don't know.
What do you think of DomainSherpa.org?
Train Young is okay. Train Young is okay as a brand. Sorry, what did you say?
Okay, trainyoung.com, what would you list it as a buy now? What would you recommend they list it? Trying to get out from under this.
Okay, if you're trying to get out from under it, I'd list it at, under $1,000. If you don't mind, waiting, I'd probably list it at 2,500 to 5K.
Okay.
But I think that one's okay. To see it now makes no sense. I don't know what the hell that is.
Okay. And then what about domainsdirect.org?
It would be okay if it was .com.
What are indirect domains? Like, what does it even mean?
Josh, it means to go direct.
Well, there was a registrar. There's a registrar domain direct, I think.
Well, that makes it seem like a worse idea, right? Like it was already a failed company.
The wrong way here.
Right. So anyway,
Right.
so I think we all agree these guys need to practice more, watch more shows, read more. There's just so many resources out there to learn. And the best thing to do is look at what's selling. I would not see any of these on a recent, sold list, other than, like I said, maybe, Dope Wines and maybe autoinsurance.app, but I don't think any of those other ones you're going to see on a list of recent sales.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I think that was great feedback from all three of you. I know they really were looking for it, and we'll appreciate that. You guys are awesome. So before we jump into domains going to auction soon, let me tell you about our advertisers who support us in our educational mission here.
Yeah.
FD was built by domain investors to increase your inquiries, sales, and profit. Forget spreadsheets and archived emails. Manage your entire investment portfolio in one place using a secure and completely confidential platform. Learn more at FT.com. That's EFTY, FT.com.
Love your enthusiasm, Braden. So we're going to move on to the marketplace list. This segment is sponsored by NameJet. We're reviewing domains heading to auction soon. And this time I'll get my order right. Or I guess, I don't know. Josh, you want to go first this time again?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
All right. So I think the best name on this list that you could be able to sell that has a lot of potential buyers is greatcars.com. I think, I mean, it's there's every town's got car dealers. It's a pretty good, it's a positive brand. So I think that's the easiest to sell. And that's good. The problem is it's not at auction anymore. So
that's my fault.
No. So they could have renewed it after you sent the list.
No, we were supposed to film last week, so I apologize. Okay. So, but it's not at auction and it didn't sell?
No, it's a wish list thing, so I think they renewed it probably.
Interesting. You know, oh, okay. I'm throwing myself under the bus for no reason. Guilty conscience.
I like Amnesia, but it's got a really high. It's 50 to 75K. I don't like. It's not like a jump out at you like here Amnesia because it almost.
It's not memorable.
Yeah, I mean, it almost has a negative kind of. But I could like it would be a great maybe like whiskey brand or. You know,
I like it.
It would make a dope wine.
Yeah.
Oh.
A nightclub, like, you know, it's so fun. You partied so hard, you don't remember anything. I don't know. It's kind of edgy, I think. Instant Karma was also, I thought not bad. It was kind of a cool little brand, Instant Karma. And so then there's the, I think you said, what names would I like for a new investor, right? Like that. So, man, like the crypto ones they're going to be appealing, right? They're going to be like it's a hot. I mean, whether the market's up or down, it's still a decent niche. I just don't think they're brands that I think they're going to go between domainers for a while, unless we get back into keywords heavily. And so they're not bad domains. I wouldn't want a new domainer to buy them because I think they just end up wholesaling them, like the crypto developer and what was the other one? Oh,
Bitcoin storage.
Bitcoin storage, yeah, and that one has a reserve on it too, but it's so they're good intrinsically, right? They're good domains. There's not. I don't think people will jump over as brands, and they'll probably change hands. And actually, the crypto developer is also not at auction anymore. So if it ever comes back up. So I covered the ones that I like. The price is subjective. There's a bunch of other ones I like too, but I won't hit everything. So stuff I don't like that I think isn't obvious. Like there's some obvious ones that suck, right? Like casinos, games. I mean, I don't like it. Maybe it gets some traffic by accident and it's high CPC, but I don't think it's good. And there's a couple other ones that aren't really, but some ones that might not be obvious that might look good that I don't like aviation watches, like it's very specific and maybe it gets some traffic, but for a new investor, I don't think it's a good idea. Even like spam prevention. I mean, that's not a bad keyword, right? Those aren't bad words. It's not a bad domain. I just don't think it'd be a good idea for a new investor because I don't see who buys it, right? I mean, maybe there's a company that'll buy it as a marketing thing, but it's not going to be their main push. It's not going to be their main gig. And also like ski clubs. We got season passes from a ski club, right? But I went right to the school that had the club and got them for the year. I didn't look up multiple clubs. So again, that's one that looks kind of like, oh, maybe it'd be kind of cool, but there's nobody to buy it. So that's where I'm at with those.
Got it. Thanks, Josh. Now, Ammar, what are your thoughts?
So it's hard to talk about from a new investor perspective, because a new investor could have a lot of money or not a lot of money. If I'm in a new investor that has some money to throw in there, I think Amnesia is a great brand. I think you said the reserve was 50 to 75. Is that what you said, Josh?
Yep.
That's a lot, but but it is a great brand, and so that one I liked a lot. But for a new investor, depending on the prices, I guess I would be looking. I think ViewCam is good. Patent law is obviously great, depending on what the reserve is, but also attorneys are generally cheap. But patent law, I would say, of any.
Ammar is an attorney, by the way. I just want to point that out.
That's right. So I have a lot of great legal names, and I don't know if I've ever sold one. And because they don't want to pay, the law attorneys oftentimes don't see the value or whatever it is. They don't get it yet. So I like the top one, Cura. That's a good, that one may, if it's cheap enough, I think that's worth picking up.
It's dropping. I think it's an expired.
And for our audience listening, I'm just going to spell it KURA.com, 4letter.com. I like it. Yep.
And the Dudes is kind of a cool brand, and that probably won't go too high. So yeah, I would say Cura, the Dudes, and ViewCam are probably the three I would pick up as a newer investor. If I could afford the investment, I would look at Amnesia.
Nice.
Maybe patent law. Yeah.
Maybe patent law. Okay. Thanks, Ammar. Braden, you're up.
So Amnesia is a good name. It's just the price is retail. So for an investor, it's not a good investment. I mean, I would buy that. I mean, if I could get it for 10 or 15 grand, I'd pick it up. But it's a $50,000 to $75,000 name. Ski clubs. I think ski clubs can be a directory. So that's decent. Not high value, but a couple of grand. Global tourism, same thing. Patent law. I have sold hundreds and hundreds of legal names. But the sweet spot is kind of the typical sweet spot for domains. It's got to be under $2,500, and then they move. That said, patent names move very, very, very slowly. I have a bunch. I've sold a couple, but these are names that I get $1,000 to $2,000 for. If they're geo-specific, this is not. So, it's a $2,500 to $3,500 name, but it's a long hold. It might take years to sell that. So,
see, I think that name is worth a lot more than $2,500.
They're tough to sell, and there's a lot of patent names on the market. That's what drives the price down, supply and demand. Right. So I've got a whole bunch of patent-related names, and they're on the market for.
Right, but that is the name. That's patent law. I think it's great.
It's not the name, because you've got patent lawyer, you've got patent lawyers, patent attorney, and patent attorneys.
Patent law is better than all those.
But beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I have had this same conversation with a ton of lawyers where it's law, lawyers, and some think, oh no, it's got to be plural. It makes it sound bigger. Or no, I'm a lawyer, so it's got to be one. Or no, I practice law, so therefore. Yeah. And
I don't know. I think that for the right, I think that's a 5-figure name, no problem, all day.
Listen, I mean, I've sold legal names, I've sold 3-word legal names for $35,000. And then I've sold them for $1,000.
Right.
So yeah. It really depends on the buyer.
For sure.
Two lawyers getting in a fight. This sounds like the beginning of a
lawyer. I just play when I'm on the internet.
I'm just a firefighter, so I don't know what's going on here.
Two lawyers and a firefighter walk into a panel.
I'm not a lawyer. So Bitcoin storage, maybe. Great Cars is a good brandable. Riga is the main city in Latvia. If people haven't been there, it's a great old town, European town. Very cool, very hip. So I mean that's Riga, but .info is terrible, and I don't know. I certainly doubt they use .info out in Latvia. Very English speaking, by the way, but I doubt they use info. So that's the problem. Riga would be fine if it wasn't the .info. Otherwise, the list is mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
But those are probably my favorites.
Unless you want to have wild sex with your hot wife that you shot.
Well, that goes without saying.
Did anybody mention Tanda?
No.
5-letter pronounceable.
I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's horrible. I think it works as a brandable. You could sell it on Brand Bucket for you probably get 10K for it. So you're not going to get any of these cheap because they're all the oldest, right? These are like 95, 96 registration date. And that's what everybody looks for first. I mean, there's certain metrics that people hit, and they're going to go down through. They're going to see the names that have bids, and then they're going to look by age, and then because it's a short list, it really narrows it down. And so these are going to go. They're going to go for more than they would be if that name Tanda had if somebody had let it drop and it had made it all the way through the process and it had a 2019 who is creation date, coming back in, or 2018, whatever, it would go for a lot less because it would sneak through, and to the end user it'd be the same quality of name. But that's where you're getting into going a little deeper digging.
But don't you think, Josh, that if Tanda was picked up for $500, I'm not looking it up. It's actually the high bid is 666. Go figure. I mean, and turn it for $2,500 to $3,500. Don't you think that's kind of the sweet spot to churn that name?
Yeah. No, I'm saying like I think it's a decent name. I think it would go for that. I don't know. My point was that because it's a 5-letter and it's pronounceable and it's got an old age, that it's going to go higher wholesale.
Drive the price up to the
Yeah.
point. So what's the right price?
For retail?
Wholesale.
Wholesale.
Right buy price.
I mean, and that's not really like, I'm going to see that for my style. I'm going to see that, and we're going to know that people are just, especially, there's going to be bidders that don't even know anything about domains or what sells, but they see everybody else bidding, and that'll drive it up. So I probably wouldn't even look at it from my style because I don't even want to deal with that, right? Like I'm going to go find stuff that people aren't attacking. I'm going to, there's a lot less inventory on NameJet, but back when there was more, I would, I'd wait till 11:59 Eastern or 10:59 Eastern time to put my back order in so nobody else saw it. And then it would be
at night like a ninja.
Yeah, well, but it was a pain. I had to set alarms. It's a 2-step process, and I had to go back and bid on the damn thing. And so I would get decent names. Like what I got, I sold last decent one I sold was draftcard.com. And I got that for like $100 because it had it didn't pop up in the frequently used metrics that everybody finds, which is the bids are the main one.
Yeah.
So my point is I wouldn't deal with that name just because I know it's going to go higher than I want. But I think it could get, even if it went for 1,000 and it sold for, it's not unreasonable to get 10,000 for it probably easily. Maybe 7, 8, 9. It'd be worth it, but not for a newer investor. I'd rather see them do a little bit extra work, not just follow somebody else's bids and get stuff that they can move for 2,500, right?
Yeah, you should be able to get a lot of names of the same quality as Tanda for a lot less than $1,000.
Under $100, and then sell them for 2,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
That's the way I would go.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, thank you. This was a good list. Any of these you're going to bid on? Anybody?
Well, now that Braden told me about lawyers and how just lame they are, I'm not going to bid on patent law anymore.
Good thing you got those earrings to make you less lame.
If fish heads is cheap enough, that's something that could be.
It reminds me of the South Park episode with fish sticks. But anyway, yeah, that one is okay. It's brandable.
I mean, yeah, as a band, like the Fish Heads. Like
it's not even on NameJet anymore.
Somebody renewed it. Jeez.
It's gone.
These aren't the ones that sold because I'm late.
No, because
the others are there.
They're still like 10 days out at least.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Fish heads, roly poly. Remember that song?
Yeah. But it makes me think too of Fish. There already is the band PHISH, and aren't they called Fish Heads?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's spelled incorrectly for that group.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think Cura is the big winner on this list. Very nice. All right. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for your insights. Anything you want to give a shout out? What's going on in your life, in your business? Anybody? Ammar?
No, nothing. There's Shane. Give a shout out to Shane. We miss him.
Yeah.
But no, nothing really too exciting right now. We're in LA this week, which is kind of nice to be back. But other than that, everything's great. Nice.
Good. Glad to hear it. Braden?
When are you coming over, Ammar?
Soon. Do lunch.
I just moved, so I'm inviting everyone over to see my new place.
I didn't get invited.
Come on.
Josh, did you get invited? Maybe it's because we're not in LA. I don't know, but still didn't get invited.
Not on my route.
Could be.
Could be.
Do I have anything? I don't really have any. I've just been focused on moving and unpacking, and it's amazing how much stuff you have when it's all in boxes piled up. So I've got far too much stuff, but it's almost all put away now. And now we're buying only furniture.
Good for you.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. Shortly, I'm going to leave here and I'm going to go back home and continue unpacking.
Sounds about right. How about you, Josh? What's going on?
I mean, as far as promoting anything, I write for dsad.com.
What? Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's just a couple guys putting lists out there, going to the beach, taking our shirts off. But, we do a daily list of domains that are going to auction, and like I've really been slacking lately because I've been doing a lot of fishing, but I'm not. No, these I've released these tournaments and stuff. The salmon. We were talking earlier about it. And he called me a fish murderer because the salmon that are going to die, I eat them. But the catfish I let go, so I feel like it's, I should balance it out. I'm a good.
Nope.
No, you didn't hear him, Josh. He also called you a torturer.
Oh, right. Oh, because yeah.
Well, look.
What about the other fish that eat the other fish? Are they torturers or murderers?
They need to do that to survive. You don't.
Oh no, I do. I need to do something to survive.
You can just go into Whole Foods and buy whatever.
No, not to eat, just not to go crazy. That's why I fish.
Oh.
So you murder for entertainment.
Right.
No, I let them go. Please.
You mangle them first. Got it.
Can you fish for spinach?
What's that?
What?
Can you fish for spinach?
Are you guys using? Is there no leather anywhere in this house?
No. I'm a carnivore, but because of Braden, I have been eating more vegetarian stuff and vegan stuff. So I'm being more moderate now. But
you'd be healthier for it.
Yeah. So.
Wow, look, I mean, you probably ate genetically modified food too, and now you've grown arms on your shoulders.
Yeah, I saw that mercury.
It must be it. Freaky. Somebody call a firefighter for help.
She's
Right.
that's my daughter, and her mom was a vegetarian. I think she just eats chicken now too. Is that a thing? Like a chicken, a poyetarian? I don't know.
Yeah,
Is it,
I don't think so. I'm a churtarian, which is vegetarian plus churros.
I ate vegetarian for a while. I lived on a kibbutz in Israel, and that was pretty much, I mean, they kept kosher, so it was almost easier just to eat vegetarian. So
And falafels are good.
yeah, they're great.
Don't they? All right.
You guys are wild. Well, I'm so glad you joined us. I love doing this, and you are so
You do love doing this.
and interesting. Yeah, I really do. Yeah, this is the best. I like the one-on-one interviews. They're great, but the panels are always hilarious when just different personalities interact differently, and we have a really good time.
Oh, I do have an announcement. I will be in a one-on-one interview with you on DomainSherpa at
Coming up soon.
some point in the future.
Yes, we had a great interview, and I do think you talked about Love Letter there, but I didn't want to spoil it when you were talking about it now.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, Braden shared like a whole year of sales of what's been going on, which a lot of brokers can't do because of NDAs. And it's just neat to get a full picture from one person or company, because a lot of times only the insiders see that. So,
I've never signed an NDA related to price, so only related to who the buyer is. But I never have, and not to say I never will, but I probably won't. And to date, I have not done it, so I can share all my sale prices.
yeah, super cool. So I look forward to seeing that air sometime soon. I just had a fabulous 2-hour call. Actually, it was longer than that.
What's that?
With the media options team. Right before this. So I've been talking all day long. And
And yet you're still talking somehow. It's amazing how women have
well, Drew got 90%
ability.
of all those words in. No, so I'm really, really excited for media options, and we got some things in the works, and it's always nice after summertime to ramp back up in this industry. It always slows down a little in the summer, and now it's time. GameOn.org.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe we bought it.
Right?
No. All right, we'll see y'all next time.
That's for sure.
All right.
Bye.
Great seeing you.